seeing that it's Juneteenth, this is the shirt that I decided to make right here. Don't argue with people that Harriet Tubman would have shot. So that's going to be on the front of the shirt. On the back of the shirt is going to be a pair of hands with a broken chain on it. And it's going to say break every chain. But this is the front of the shirt. And I'm going to have these in different colors. So right now, I'm cutting out the colors right now. I'm going to have yellow, red, green, and the gun, I'm going to put the gun in white. So based on what it is on what the length is on the computer, that's what I'm going with. So yellow will be the don't argue with people. So from 2 to 4, so I need to measure this out to cut it. So about right here. It don't have to be 100% straight. That's 2 to 4. That's the red. The green is from 4 to 6. So green is gonna be from 4 to 6. Let me cut this part out. So the green, that's 4 to 6. Green is 4 to 6. So it's 5 of them in total. So I'm gonna do red, yellow, red, green, yellow. And that is gonna be from 6 to 8. Let me check that one out. That's about it right there. And then the last one, I'm gonna split it. It's gonna be from 0. Let me move. I'm gonna move the gun over. I'm gonna move this over. So that's going to be 6 and 6. So 0 to 6 and 6 to 12. And that's 8 through 10. So this is about 6 right here. And this is 10. Right here. Then the other part is gonna be white. This part is gonna be white. Cut this part on. Alright, so we got that part set up. Now, just have to open up the Cricut, turn it on. So now that I've mirrored everything, now I'm gonna go to continue. It's gonna connect to my printer, well, not my printer, my Cricut. I usually select premium right now. Now I'm gonna load it up. Fast mode, press the C for it to start cutting, preparing. There you have it, it's starting to cut now. So again, I'm using the Cricut Cut Smart 2. I'll have to look up how much it costs. But if you want to make your own shirts, make designs on like cups and stuff, I would highly suggest you invest in it. Invest in one. Because it helps you cut out like those smaller things that you can't get with like scissors. If you wanted to like waste time trying to cut stuff out with scissors, you could, but this is much faster and more precise. So it's about 31% complete. Then I'm gonna put it on a black t-shirt. Well, I still gotta do the back of it. This is gonna be the front of the shirt. I still gotta do the back of the shirt as well. Now that the Cricut has finished cutting everything out, I'm gonna go ahead and use my tool to take all the out the cuts. So the Cricut comes with one of these cutting tools, but it's also good. I bought like extra ones and stuff. So you use the tool to help you peel off the vinyl paper. This is thermal, this yellow stuff, this gold, that's thermal tape that I used to hold the paper down when it was on the Cricut so the paper wouldn't keep coming up. These will be my hands and the broken chains. I probably could have cut this off, but since I didn't use that for it. So yeah, when you get to like these smaller areas, that's when the tool really comes in handy. So that's what it's gonna look like. But like I said, for like the smaller areas, you have to know which part you're taking out. You know, this one's gonna take a while because it's a lot to cut out. So I'll do this one last. Let me do the other ones. So this is the break every chain part to go with the hands and the broken chains. Juneteenth was used to celebrate the slaves being free. Texas was like one of the first states to recognize it. So now all these other states finally recognize the Juneteenth, but in Texas, they've been celebrating Juneteenth for over a century. So it may not probably not like nationally, but black people have been celebrating Juneteenth for over a century. So this is the chain part. There goes the chain. This is the every part. Arm. And the colors are gold, green, red, and black for Juneteenth. This is the break part. So for smaller ones, once you get a good tug of the material, it's easier to peel off. But when it's bigger, and when it's smaller, you maybe have to be careful so you don't peel like smaller letters off. Okay, so that's the break every chain part. This is the I don't argue with people who Harriet Tubman would have shot part. This is the thing about Juneteenth. People have been celebrating July 4th. See, the problem with that is 1776, black people still weren't free. So that's why Juneteenth is recognized as like freedom for black people. Because that's what Frederick Douglass wrote about. He was talking about the 4th of July and the Negro not being free on the 4th of July. So why, like, Why should black people be celebrating that when slaves weren't even free during that time? So that was what, 1776 Independence Day, and the slaves weren't free until 1865, the end of the Civil War. Well, that was before the slaves were set free, and then they started getting arrested, and they started putting them in jails. They had slave catchers and stuff, and they started rounding black people up, because a lot of people don't realize that a lot of the public hangings and stuff, that happened after slavery. There were more black people killed after slavery than during slavery. But some people believe that shouldn't be taught in schools, and students and other people shouldn't learn about that. But that's a part of history. Why wouldn't you? History is history, whether it's bad or good. Now, some people may say, if that's the case, well, why do you want to remove Confederate statues and stuff? That's history, right? Yes, that is history, but the difference is that's not taught history. You're celebrating those Confederate soldiers and stuff who had slaves and killed people during slavery. Why should those people be celebrated? Even with something like the Confederate flag, people, oh, well, that's the rebel flag, and that just means Southern pride and all that. But when the Confederates would ride around with their flags and stuff, after they lost the Civil War, so I don't know why anybody would want to fly a flag of the people that lost, but after they lost the Civil War, Robert E. Lee, who was the commander of the Confederates, they asked him what did they want to do with the flag. He told them to fold it up and put it away. And that's exactly what they did. They took the Confederate flag disappeared for a while until somebody brought it back. And who do you think it was that brought it back? A group of people called the Ku Klux Klan. They were the ones who brought the Confederate flag back. And yes, during this time, the Ku Klux Klan were formed mostly by Democrats. But over time, they kind of like switched ideals and parties. So the Democrats back then are now the Republicans now. So that's why you see at a lot of like Republican rallies, you see people waving Confederate flags. But if you go to a Democrat rally, because people love to say, well, the Democrats started the KKK, which is true, they did. But if you go to a lot of Democrat rallies, you're not going to see people waving the Confederate flag. But you will see people waving the Confederate flag at a lot of Republican and conservative rallies. So, yes, the Democrats did start the KKK, but they're not the ones waving the Confederate flag nowadays. Most Confederate flags you're going to find at Republican rallies. I'm going to finish cutting these out, then I'll come back to make the rest of them, to make the shirt. Now that I have everything cut out, let's go ahead and put it on the shirt to get ready to iron it on. I had to redo it because I didn't pay attention and I rearranged the letters wrong. I meant the words wrong. So I had to start the whole process over again. So when you're making your shirts and you have letters on them, make sure the words on them, make sure the words are in order. So I accidentally put the wood and the half backwards last time, so that's why I had to start over. So don't argue. Let me cut this part off. That make it easier to place. So don't argue with people. Don't argue with people Harriet Tubman Don't argue with people. Harriet Tubman. See, last time I accidentally put half wood. It should have been would have. I wasn't paying close enough attention. So don't argue with people. Harriet Tubman would have shot. So that's what it's gonna look like. Don't argue with people. Harriet Tubman would have shot. You ain't got the look going right there. All right, so now I'm gonna get my protector, vinyl protector, to get ready to iron it on, and then I'll do the back. So cover it up. Get my heat press ready. So again, I set it to 30 seconds and I usually iron it on. Like, you could let it sit, but I want to get all the letters, so that's why I iron it. And you don't have to like press down on it hard, like when you're ironing. The heat, yeah, you may want to do that for pressure, but as long as the heat is being applied to the vinyl, it's gonna melt on, not melt, but like become adhesive like glue. So I usually do it twice so I can make sure that I have everything. And then I do it a third time when I get through peeling it off after it's cooled down. So after I peel it off and let it cool for a few minutes, I'll go back over it to make sure everything's on the shirt where it's not like loose or peeling off. Couple more seconds. All right, so that should do it. All right. See, last time it had half wood, so that's why I had to start all the way over. Don't argue with people. Harriet Tubman would have shot. So I'm gonna let this cool for a couple of minutes. Then I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna peel it off, put this back on and iron it again. And then I'll flip it over on the back and put the other side. The other side is gonna have the hands with the broken chains, and it's gonna say break every chain on the back. So I'm gonna let this cool for a couple of minutes. Then I'll come back and peel it. So now that I've let it cool down for a few minutes, I'm gonna start peeling off, but you gotta peel it off slowly to make sure some of it is not still stuck on the shirt. You don't want to just like yank it off. You want to go slow to make sure the letters don't stick. So like, it's a good, see, that's why I go, so the letters was still stuck to the paper. So that's why I go over it again after I peel these off, just to make sure that all the letters are stuck to the shirt and not the paper. So again, make sure you go slow. Almost done. And I'm under a fan too, so that helped cool it down. Boom. Don't argue with people Harriet Tubman would have shot. So I'm gonna go over this again now that the paper is off, just to make sure that it stays on there. So I'm gonna go over this twice, 30 seconds each. Just to make sure that the letters are on there and not moving around. If you wanna press it a little bit, you can, but you don't have to press it hard. So then I'm gonna flip. After I'm done with this, I'm gonna flip the shirt over and do the back of it. A few more seconds. Now I'm gonna do the back of the shirt. It's gonna say break every chain. Let me get my protector. Get ready to iron this part on. Again, I usually do 30 seconds twice. And then let it cool, and then put it over it one more time when it's after I've peeled it off, just to make sure it's not still stuck. Alright, I'm gonna do 30 more seconds. So I'm gonna let that sit a few minutes. Then I'm gonna pull it off, let it get cool. Then I'm gonna iron it one more time. So now I'm gonna go ahead and peel the back of the shirt off. Again, remember to go slow because you don't want to ruin it when you're peeling it off. Alright, almost done with this one. A little bit more. Alright, so we got that. Let's do the chain part. Remember, slow, peel it off slow because you don't want to ruin it. Alright, so I am going to go back over this one time just to make sure everything is on there and it's steady. So I'm gonna just go one time. Just to make sure it's heated. Everything is good. Alright. And boom. There you have it. This is the front of the shirt. Don't argue with people Harriet Tubman would have shot. And this is the back of the shirt. Break every chain. So stay tuned for more videos of me making different shirts. I made the Digimon shirt the other day. I'm gonna be making more shirts coming soon in the future. Subscribe to the channel, like and comment. More videos coming soon. Trey T out. Peace.